Today we have a crucial topic: first language acquisition and critical period. Providing accessible language like sign language to deaf children during the critical period from birth to 3 or 6 years prevents language deprivation. Deaf kids need to be exposed to accessible language as soon as they're born. In case where deaf parents give birth to a deaf child, language access begins right from birth. However, most hearing parents of deaf children may not have enough information to decide which is the appropriate language for their deaf child. Medical experts have an important role in informing parents about all communication options, including sign language, which can ensure that children have access to their natural language at the earliest. Language development during critical period is the foundation for navigating education, career, and all other aspects of life independently and make informed choices. Having a strong first language ensures that deaf children perform well in schools and develop reading writing skills at par with other students. The major issues are related to the educational approaches for deaf children. Schools may follow the oral method, total communication method. Few schools even provide educational bilingualism. The current scenario in schools following inclusive education is teaching deaf students along with hearing students with other disabilities. This setup may lead to challenges for deaf learners. Let's discuss some of the pros and cons of such a setup. In inclusive classrooms, students with other disabilities can learn, communicate, and follow up with teachers. We must not forget that deaf students enter school with rudimentary language skills as they have not been exposed to sign language and deaf culture during the critical years. Teachers and students with other disabilities have the same first language, which may be Hindi or English. Spoken language is not the mother tongue for deaf students. In this kind of setups, deaf children are excluded from education and communication. Hope you all can imagine why the current system of inclusion does not match the needs of all deaf children. Inclusive setups must provide equitable language access. Schools admitting deaf learners need to hire sign language interpreters for language and communication access. Teaching instructions as well as conversations in the classroom should be interpreted for deaf students. This is just one of the ways to ensure deaf students are not left behind. Unfortunately, majority of schools fail to accommodate the accessibility needs of deaf students. Developing language and literacy in deaf children by providing an accessible first language, that is Indian Sign Language for deaf children in India, during the critical period will ensure that deaf children have a strong and age-appropriate linguistic foundation just like hearing children. Accessible language removes communication barriers. Schools must provide sign language as a subject for deaf learners. Oral schools should also provide ISL support as and when required. The oral methods have utility in family or regular groups, but presents limitations in other social situations. Knowing sign language increases the chances of social interaction and decreases social exclusion. Sign system provides the much required support in improving literacy skills, but for conceptual clarity and classroom discussions, especially for deaf students, a natural language such as sign language should be preferred. This does not mean that the child is exposed to only one language. We have to focus on other languages for knowledge and literacy. However, the proper acquisition of first language is paramount for the development of second or third language fluency. Teachers, medical experts, and parents take the decision on behalf of the deaf child when it comes to choosing the educational mode. This may not always work. Educational modes need customization according to the needs of the learner. We need to include the deaf community and deaf experts, asking deaf role models about their experiences, how they managed to become successful, hoping that these discussions inspire deaf students to follow in their footsteps. Conclusion is that our first language is extremely crucial.